Barrios Brewing Company is Arizona's oldest brewery. In 2017, Barrios opened up in Phoenix at the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. Barrios is a roomy brew pub featuring its own brand of craft beers on tap, plus burgers, tacos, as well as sports on TV. Check out a few of their favorites, such as the Barrios Bacon Jam Sliders, 2 beef sliders covered with their own savory bacon jam and cheddar cheese, served on a pretzel roll. Yum. And how about Barrios Brats? The house bratwurst is slowly simmered in a copperhead pale ale grilled over an open flame, served with your choice of sauerkraut or caramelized onions. Yum again. So check out Barrios, located at 5803 South Sossaman Road, number 212 in Mesa, Arizona. Or give them a call at 480-988-7171. That's 480-988-7171. Barrios Brewing Company.
Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass f- Do you know how big their legal department is, face?" So to recap, Mint is actually lowering prices on every plan to just $15 a month. And I will stay the hell out of the legal department.
All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are broadcasting live here at Barrio Brewing Company here at the Mesa Gateway Airport. We're going to be out here on Fridays. It's Friday Night Fanatics right here, 4:30 to 6:30. We'll be here and going wild, having a good time. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Make sure you catch us on Sunday mornings, 9 to noon. We cover them all before kickoff on Sunday morning in the NFL. That being said, I got some bad news today about my Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, anybody that has watched the show knows that if there's anybody that's going to smash the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's going to be Sonny Clark. I love my Jaguars. Tom McManus, former linebacker of the Jacksonville Jaguars, comes on this show often. And that man is not a happy camper. Listen, I have known Tom McManus we've been on air for 16 years. I've had him coming on our show for 15. And you won't find a bigger Jacksonville Jaguar fan, of course, played for the team. And he is not a happy camper either. Looking at what Jacksonville and what they are, how they're representing themselves right now in the NFL makes you wonder where they are as a football team as far as the future is concerned. Remember, they just got done, it was 2 years ago, making their quarterback one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. What has he done? Nothing. Nothing, honey. Nothing at all. Hasn't been good enough. And that is kind of like the definition of what the Jacksonville Jaguars are. Just not good enough. You got some good players and you got some good pieces, but you're just not good enough. I mean, you can look at other football teams that are on their way up, on the cusp. Now, I started this. I didn't like the hiring of their head coach. And he kind of grown on me. He's kind of grown on me, definitely. But right now, he's kind of grown on me like mold on the side of a tree. I don't like it. And it has not been good for the last week. Well, not last week. They were on the bye. They almost lost, by the way, on the bye. But the week before in London, they got their asses handed to them. And it was embarrassing. And this week, on Sunday, they get quite possibly one of the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. And I don't know if I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to win on the bragging rights pick'em game. I want the point. But something tells me when I see what happened in London, they didn't go there on a business trip. They went there to sightsee. They went there on vacation, and it showed. So with them being on the bye, did they actually work through the bye? I don't know. I don't know their practice schedule. I can find out. I'll ask God. But I will tell you, if they didn't, the mindset of that football team needs to change. And that has to come from above. And that comes from the head coach, Lee Cohen. Also, I'll just say this. The sad part of this is that he has put the blame on his shoulders. Now, granted, this guy, say whatever you want. Yeah, let's put him up. There he is. This guy right here carries the blame, some of the blame. But I'm going to say this. He should not be carrying too much of the blame. Having the whole blame go on Lee and Cohen is it's unfair. Part of it is going to go to him. But they're playing like garbage. Ladies and gentlemen, they're playing like garbage, and it's not. And not only that, they were playing in a division, the AFC South, where they had the opportunity to make a stand in quite possibly one of the worst divisions in the NFL right now. But now there was a change. By the way, if you go back, check in the Couch Potato archives. I told everybody to watch out for the Indianapolis Colts this year, didn't I? Yeah, I said it. Everybody thought I was crazy. You're looking at a football team that is now 7-1. 7-1, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the team that they have to fight to try to win that division. They're not going to do it. So now what's up for the Jacksonville Jaguars? They got to try and make a wild card. Well, let's think about that for a second. Is that even possible? Let's go to the AFC and go over to the East. You got Buffalo, that's probably going to win that division, or maybe New England. All right, so one of the, right there, one of those two teams are going to grab up, quite possibly, one of the wild cards. So if you go to the AFC North, well, there's a big one. We already know Pittsburgh coming out of nowhere with Aaron Rodgers, but you also got Baltimore, who won last night. By the way, just had a great game. And that being said, they're in it, so there goes the second wild card. Because you can't expect Cleveland as well as the Cincinnati Bengals to be making a play for the wild card. So let's go to the AFC West. Well, a little bit different over there, right? You got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the prime of the division, but you also got the Chargers that are playing good football. They dropped some stupid games, okay? But they're going to be, one of those two teams is going to be the wild card. You look at right now the Raiders, who the Jacksonville Jaguars play. If they play as bad as I hope they don't, but if they do, they might get another check underneath the W. And then you got Denver. So you got two teams right there within the AFC West that are vying for two more plays. That's 4 of the wild card spots. The Jacksonville Jaguars just aren't going to do it. By the way, that being said, they're not even going to win their own division to get the home field. That's going to go to Indianapolis. And don't forget Houston. So the Jacksonville Jaguars' chances are not good. Then you get this. You get Travis Hunter. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks due to a knee injury. Their number one guy. And by the way, deserves everything that he gets. This guy's a good football player. So, what does that mean for the Jaguars? That means that if they don't start playing out their mind for the rest of this season, it's going to be a waste season. Now, not having Travis Hunter for 4 to 6 weeks changes the whole outlook of what the Jacksonville Jaguars are. But this Sunday, we're going to talk about it. Of course, on that being said, make sure you check us out. We'll be on 9 to noon. And I got a whole different outlook on the Jacksonville Jaguars than most do regarding this game. And we'll cover that. Make sure you join us. We'll go in deep with that. And we'll talk about where the Jaguars are and where they are. Hey, there they are. So, now, I was expecting the Podfather to be in here. And he's never fashionably late because his fashion is worse than mine, and I don't have a good one. So I'm not sure where the Podfather is, but he's got an interesting situation this week with his Dallas Cowboys. Now, you can say a lot about the Dallas Cowboys. You can say they got some great players. You can say they're not a very good football team. You can say their quarterback is playing out of their mind, MVP caliber, but yet they can't win football games. You can say all that. But this week, if they lose this week, this is going to be a tough road for his Dallas Cowboys to make the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys, where they are, have put themselves like in a pickle because they're good. But well, maybe they're not. But yeah, they're really good. But no, they're not. This is a team that has a hard time putting it together out on the football field for a full 60 minutes. They get Dak Prescott playing out of his mind, which by the his ears must have been ringing. That or he's driving. Let's see here. Let's just bring on. Where's his intro? Because there it is. Let's bring him on. I miss this guy right here. But that being said, we can also do this guy right here. That guy right there. Yeah, we could do that guy. All right, Podfather. Good afternoon. Were your ears ringing?
No, I'm not in a good mood right now. I am on the side of the road. I was going to go see my kids' last football game for the year, and I blew a flat tire on my way out there. And I don't have a spare, so I'm kind of just stuck on the side of the road until a tow truck gets here.
Gotcha. Well, I guess we kind of get you right here unexpectedly. I was going to say you were fashionably late, but your fashion taste is worse than mine. You wear Dallas Cowboys jersey, so there you go.
That's some ever shirt, sir. Get your shit together.
Well, I'm just saying you wear Dallas Cowboy apparel. That could be enough. To
No,
be
not all the time. I mean, you can AI one on me, but that don't mean that I'm wearing it.
Gotcha. All right. That being said, you sent me over my bad news for the week in reality, and I don't know how much.
It's only 4 weeks, though.
Yeah,
It's only
well,
4
4
weeks.
to 6, 4 to 6, and probably where they'll be at if they are smart. Now, remember I said if they're smart. This is a football team that will let that guy get some rest for the rest of the season and not bring him back based upon what's going to happen in those 4 weeks. Based upon what happened, you missed it. I was talking about the teams that were vying for the wild card because right now Indianapolis is just kicking it, and they're just taking advantage of the AFC South. That means they're fighting for a wild card, and I don't know if we're going to get. I don't know if Jacksonville Jaguars have the testicular fortitude to be that team to make that wild card spot. I think I lost you on a mute, my friend, but I don't know. I don't see you muted. I just had you. There we go. All right. Are you on a Bluetooth? Is that what you're doing? There we go. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm just wasting gas. I'm wasting gas as I'm waiting here because I got some sort of gas leak as well.
Oh, are you almost out of gas?
I'm at 55 miles left, and it's just been going since about. I've been sitting here about 2 hours, and it's gone from 111 down to 55 now.
Wow,
yeah.
Just sitting there and idle. Damn.
Yeah, I'm not real happy right now.
I guess. How are you feeling about your Dallas Cowboys since you're
I feel better about them than I do about me.
I got it. I understand. So, that being said, the Jaguars, you sent me over the placard. And, of course, I was on the road when you sent that to me, so I didn't put it up in my normal poster, but I got it up and threw it up here. So that being said, what is your take up on this as far as the Jaguars are concerned and their opportunity for a playoff position? Here we are in week now number 9.
I know it's easy to sit there and start talking, playoffs now because we're halfway through the season. This is when it all gets interesting, right? This is when the season gets real interesting. Who are the buyers? Who are the sellers? Who's really going to be in the thick of things?
Mm-hmm.
My God, you got a lot. You can hit that noise cancellation thing on your phone.
Say what?
You got to hit the noise cancellation on your speaker deal.
All right. Well, give me a second. I'll do it. Go ahead.
That's better. Anyway, can you hear me okay?
I'm going to be fine. I'll push the button, so I'm good.
Okay, no. Look. I think that what they're going to do here soon. I mean, they're a good team. They're just right now. I mean, they have a young team with an aged quarterback who has pretty much been beat up a lot in the last couple of years. So, I mean, the amount of hits a quarterback takes can age you about 5 years altogether just from one hit. So, I really do think that they might need to be a little aggressive in the trade deadline, and not so much so. But, him being gone 4 to 6 weeks, I mean, if they can win 2, maybe 3 of those games and that whole thing, I wouldn't count them out. I wouldn't count them out because, I mean, again, they're in the AFC South. I can't hear you. You should learn how to do radio.
Well, no. Well, that being said, it just all depends upon their schedule, how it works. I mean, what's going to happen, for the rest of the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's
Who do they got for the next 4 to 6 weeks?
Well, there you go. now that you speak of it, they got Sunday the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, you want to call that one a win, you can go ahead and do so.
Okay, I will.
Okay. We'll talk about that on Sunday. I'll go in deep. I've actually got something to really look at as far as that's concerned. Then they got the Texans.
Could be a win.
Could be a win. That's in division game, all important in division game. Then they got the Chargers.
Okay,
Well,
let's just say loss on that one.
Let's just say a loss on that. All right, and why is it here? Let me hit this button. It'll go in a little bit
You don't
better.
have to be ready.
Say what?
You gotta see the sunset I got behind me.
I see it.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of nice.
All right.
Only nice about today.
all right. So, and then they got the Cardinals. Now that's a winnable game. That should be a win. Should be if they're good. Then they got the Titans. Should be a game. So
That could be a win there. Yeah.
they
They have a very favorable schedule going forward. So for him to miss 4 to 6 weeks to get healed up, this might be a blessing in disguise for them down the road.
It could be. It could be something though that could be a disaster as well by not have. Just lost him. Could be a disaster if they don't have Travis Hunter. So that'll be the big story going on there. So as the Podfather is on the side of the road with a flat tire waiting for a tow truck, we lose him, but he should be back here fairly quickly. Now, lots of other things that are going on in the NFL. Up there he is. I got him back. All right. So, are you there?
I'm here. Hey,
Okay.
go into your settings. There's a thing in there for noise cancellation. They'll get the noise all around you taken care of.
All right, I'll do that right now. There. How's that? Is that better?
A little bit better.
Okay. Well, at least I did it. All right. Now, and I'll go ahead and I'll hit the mute button sometimes too. So, all right. So, did you get the opportunity to watch last night's football?
No, I was at work last night, so I missed out. But from what I understand, the Ravens came to play, and what's his name? Lamar Jackson had a hell of a game. He needed one of those because he hadn't had one of those in a while.
Well, he's been on injury, so getting Lamar Jackson back in the lineup was a big deal for the Ravens, and getting a big win. And as far as that division is concerned, look what they're trying to vie for a playoff spot. You already got the Steelers doing what they're doing, so they're going to be trying to fight that. And that's another one. One of those two teams are going to probably end up with a wild card. So where's that going to be with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is that your tow truck?
Hey, I gotta go. Bye.
Yep, gotcha. All right, so his tow truck has arrived. So we'll kick him out. He'll come back in when he's ready. So let's watch out for the Jaguars. Now, lots of other things going on in the NFL, and so let's start here, okay? All right, so with the Vikings placing their guy, Carson Wentz. Now, okay, maybe he's not necessarily their guy. I mean, but J.J. McCarthy is going to get the opportunity here, get back into the lineup for the Vikings. This is a big-time move for them. Because why? You take a look at the NFC North. Got the Lions playing out of their mind yet again. Good, bad, indifferent. Okay, hold on. He's saying bringing them back in. Hold on. And all right. All right, Podfather, let's get you. Well, now you blinked out your screen. So we'll remove him again and bring him back. If I catch him, we'll bring him back. So Carson Wentz. Now the way things are looking. Let's do this. Let's look at the standings of what's going on. We'll put them up for everybody in the NFL. Oh, no, you. Yes. Huh? Okay. All right. So let's get the find it. Where's the schedule? I got it set. See this? Oh, yeah. There they are. Right there. Bang. All right. So here's the schedule or the standings for the football teams in the NFL right now after week 8. Now, obviously, well, hold on. Now, do we get the Podfather back? All right, so let's do that. All right, Podfather, are you there?
Yeah, it's been hell. Trust me.
So, all right, so looking at the standings in the NFL right now and what they're going on, figuring out who and where the Jaguars, if you look at where they're at, they're 4-3, but you also got to look at these other divisions within the NFL. Got two teams coming out of the AFC East, probably. You got probably two teams coming out of the North. In the West, there could be three coming out of there, depending on the situation. So the Jaguars are going to have to play out of their mind in order to get where they need to get to be serious contenders within this year's playoffs run. So that's going to be the biggest question out there going on. So when you look at that and you see kind of where the standings are, and we just kind of briefly talked about it, this is a football team that has to show up each and every week based upon some of the other teams and what they're doing and when they're playing.
I mean, they're in a good position right now, and like I said, we went through their schedule for the next couple of games. You know, if they play right and they play hard and they get the job done, which is what you want them to do, that we're talking possibly a wild card and what gets them in the conversation. And at the end of the day, isn't that something you'd be happy with, just getting the conversation?
Oh, I'd be okay with it, but here's my worry. Okay, they got some winnable games coming up, like Sunday. The Raiders, I'm worried about this game. This is not a slam dunk whatsoever. Okay, and also that being said, then they get the light hit games. They got 3 games here in reality. They got the Titans later on in the season. They got the Jets later on in the season, and the Titans again, along with the Arizona Cardinals. So those are the games that you looked at that and you're a good football team, you said, well, these are winnable games. These should be up underneath the W side. But that being said, if they don't show up and play like the Jaguars often do, that's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, but if you're talking about a team that was probably poorly coached back in the days, now they've been coached pretty well this year by your guy. So I really think he's done a lot to really help out the teams, the mindset of that team. And are they going to win every game? No. Look out that window. No one's going to do that this year. So I do think that if you get the right mindset going, again, you got an experienced quarterback who he feels like he's inexperienced because he's been beaten up to high hell for the last couple of years. But now he's starting to kind of find that rhythm. He's kind of like what Sam Darnold was kind of falling into last year. He kind of fell in that rhythm of, hey, I'm a good quarterback. I just need to have the right people around me to do it. So I think he's very fortunate with that, and I think they got a good situation there in Jacksonville. I mean, do they got winnable games? Yes, but they got to win them. They know that because guess what? People look at them on their schedules and go, "That's a winnable game." So it's one thing if you're the
Duval.
Absolutely, they have those on that list.
I don't know why you have to do that because I can't see it, and you're just kind of messing up the show. So yeah, you're yelling at me, and I can't hear you.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not funny. Okay, all right. So,
well, look, I got people picking me up now and everything else. I'll see you on Sunday. Just want to drop by and say I'm in hell. So this is hell. It's Oklahoma too, apparently.
I was going to say, isn't it the norm for you in reality as of late?
Yeah,
by the way, congratulations on getting that stuff taken care of. You're a good man.
Yeah, I got it taken care of, but yet now here I am. Like the Lord's fucking me one way or the other.
Yeah, well, hey, look at the bright side. I know it's hard to do. I get it.
All
right, you be good. We'll see you Sunday morning. As is the Podfather joining us here on the Couch Potatoes Sports Show. And that being said, he'll be on with us on Sunday morning. So Jaguars got their work cut out for them on Sunday. We'll talk about that, of course, up on Sunday. Some of the other news, some of the things that we're going to be talking about for this week. or some of the news that is out there. So we talked about Carson Wentz. We talked about where they are. So if you go back into the standings and look at the NFC and the north side of it, where I'm going to be honest, I did not expect what we're seeing in the NFC North. However, down to 3-4, I didn't expect that for the Vikings. And also, that being said, looking at the North, it is incredible. You say whatever you want about the Bears, okay? They're up there. Okay? The Bears have put it together, but obviously you got Green Bay at 5-1-1, and then you got the Lions at 5-2. They're going to be battling to maybe try to make a playoff spot. It'll be interesting to see where the Bears end up as well. That being Cuervo. But if you go to the AFC North, the Steelers, Bryce in Brooklyn's Steelers right now are the cream of the crop, although they dropped a bad game a couple weeks back. By the way, where is their defense? Have you seen the defense? Hey, Bryce, have you seen the defense? They haven't been around. And then you got Cincinnati in second place in that division at 3-5. Okay, I never thought right now we'd be saying that at this time that the 3-5 Bengals are ahead of the 2-5 Baltimore Ravens. But Baltimore, of course, getting that big win. That was a huge win for that football team last night. So, but Miami on the other side of this, the pathetic Miami Dolphins. Listen, this has not been a good football team for a long time. Okay, well, where they're at, they should be ashamed of themselves, and they're an embarrassment, 2-6. But you would think that would be the bottom of the barrel. No. That would be the New York Jets at 1-7. They got lucky last week and got the victory, which no one picked them to win. So, but that is how do you say it? The little marks might be on the first-year coach in New York. Former defensive coordinator for the Lions, which seemed to be okay with they don't need Ben Johnson to be good. And it's bad enough that all the words and all the things that were being said about the coaching. Ben Johnson, is he getting better? I don't know. But the loss of Aaron Glenn, I thought that would be a big time loss in reality for the Lions. No. Lions, and not only that, especially on the defensive side, look what these guys did. They said, listen, we are not even going to give this guy an opportunity to go anywhere. They did this. This is really an unprecedented move. Okay, this is a guy that has been playing in the NFL for 2 years, and they're extending him now. So the Lions aren't stupid by any stretch. The Lions are coming to play, and they're going to bring their guys with them and keep them. So what does that mean later on when Jared Goff at the end of the season might need a new contract? Some things to talk about over there. But that is a big signing. You're talking Hutchinson. The guy's been in the NFL for 2 years, and they're not even playing. They're not even making it look like they're disinterested in keeping him on the football field for them. So smart are, when you look at, the state where they are and where their history is going to be. And their history is right there saying straight out, well, our history, if it's going to be good, better, and different, it's going to include our superstar. Good move for them in reality, because it's not the thing to do, is to mess with your superstar. And I've been saying this for a long time about some teams that actually do it and they mess with them, and it always comes back and bites them in the derriere. So the Lions, they've got a lot to look forward to, and so that's going to be huge. The Lions got some interesting, work as far as Jameson Williams. So they need to get this guy back into the lineup so he can represent and help this team even win more. By the way, did you see St. Brown's bobblehead? They got a reverse bobblehead. They got St. James upside down on a bobblehead. It's funny if you got it. So, by the way, I hate Christmas. I hate Halloween. Today's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm not a great big fan of this holiday because you gotta act like you like kids. But that's another thing. But you go to Green Bay, Matt LaFleur. He says he could. I wish we got the audience. We were having a hard time. I was having a hard time getting my video on some of my stuff. He doesn't really seem to care too much about, Halloween. He's interested in winning football games. And back to the Lions, Dan Campbell revealed that he once wore a Marilyn Monroe costume for Halloween. Evidently, his wife's got proof of it. And that's something that you might want to burn, Dan. All evidence, you need to get rid of it. So that in itself. Now, you take a look at Dan Campbell, and if you go back in the history of the show, when they hired this guy, there was not a one of us liking the move. The guy was a meathead. That was a very common word for Dan Campbell. A meathead. Well, that meathead has taken this Lions team to where they are. And by the way, when you look at the signing, the extension for Aiden Hutchinson, he saw it coming a long time ago. Now, if you look at the Lions, when they were on Hard Knocks, okay, you've seen what the situation was with him. And you see what kind of guy that's going to be. This is a football team with Hutchinson. There are some interesting ideas for the Lions. And one of them, as the trade deadline looms on Tuesday, you can see some guys moving on. And I'm talking about Hendrickson in Cincinnati. He's primed to be let go, primed to be traded, primed to be getting some, NFL draft stock. Could the Lions be in play? I'm telling you right now, if the Lions grab up Hendrickson, this is probably going to be one of the great, in-season moves, especially for the Lions. This is not a football team known for doing things good all the time. All right. But as of late, they have. So picking up Hendrickson out of Cincinnati would short that defense so far up, makes you kind of wonder, would anybody score on them? Obviously they would, but not to the point. So that's huge. And as far as the Lions are concerned, what they're going to do for the next 3 to 4 years, they need to get that win now attitude and grab up guys. And Hendrickson would be one of them. So there are 3 players out right now for the Lions for the game against the Vikings this week. Safety Kirby Joseph, linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez, and running back Craig Reynolds. They are not going to be on the field this week. So that's going to be huge. Actually, now that I think about it, I think the Lions are the Lions on the bye. I had information that they were taking on. No, the Lions. They are in. They are actually the Lions are on the bye. So, but they've already got those 3 guys out for the next game. I thought the Lions were playing the Minnesota Vikings. They are. Yeah, there it is. Just got the wrong date. So we got 3 guys out for that game. So it'll just all depend upon the need for some of their players. So and the Vikings, the Vikings got their own problems, but they get the J.J. McCarthy effect back on Sunday. And can they turn it around with J.J. McCarthy? Well, their record is going to be a big move for them if they do. So that's going to be an interesting game on Sunday. And, of course, we're going to really dive deep into it a little bit, on Sunday when we talk about the games. Also, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Let's give a shout-out. Obi's wife not feeling very well. And so we're going to keep good thought for her. And Obi, I doubted Obi's going to be on the show on Sunday, taking care of a lot of it. So that I'm laughing because we got a lot of fun people here. So it's good, not because Obi. All right, so back into it. All right, so what's next up on the line right here? The Dolphins go ahead and take care of the general manager. He is out, but the head coach is still there. Oh, my God. And after that performance yesterday, man, I don't know. Maybe it's me. But I saw this coming from the beginning of the season. They were talking about maybe him being gone by mid-season before the season even really got going. But Chris Greer, Chris Greer's been with the Miami Dolphins for years. He's been there since 2000. That's a pretty good gig. Now, not as general manager, but he's been with the Dolphins since 2000. I mean, we're talking 25 years. He took over the GM portion of it in 2016. Sometimes you just gotta, get a change of address. Because right now, what's going on in Miami is pretty pathetic. The guru, the guy, the analytics professional that was supposed to be in there and help this football team to be even better because of the analytics, he's gone. He should be gone. So, no GM right now. Where does that lead the Miami Dolphins here for the next, 3 months? November, December, January. Need to get someone in there. And not having a GM at this time. Yes, the trade deadline is on Tuesday. But they go ahead and they part ways with them now. So who's going to be wheeling and dealing, or are they? And if they do wheel and deal, will Jason Waddle be part of that wheeling and dealing? Because really, if you look at it, outside of Tua, I don't think too many people are going to be trading for Tua. Maybe they would. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking But Waddle's about the only one that anybody wants to grab up because they're just going to let Tyreek Hill go off of the contract. So and if they could trade and try to get trade value, I'm wonderful. But him being hurt, that's not helping. They're not going to get anything from him. So the Miami Dolphins, as embarrassing as they put on a performance, it is incredibly sad. Now, that also being said, I'm a little bit perturbed about the schedule itself. I mean, you look at what has been going on Thursday night. They've been having some good, but the last two have been just wasteful. The Ravens beat the Miami Dolphins by 22 points. Okay, that's basically three touchdowns, and it could have been worse and should have been worse. So, interesting, I don't know, but you got the 49ers. They're going to take that cross-country trip, head on over and take on the New York Giants. I'm actually really interested in that football game because of what we've been seeing, because of the cross-country, because of the Giants. Are they getting better? Is Jackson Dart good? I don't know. Is he? So that'll be an interesting game that we'll be watching. Another game that we should be interested in watching is the Colts and the Steelers. The Colts on the road to take on the Steelers. And say whatever you want about the Colts. That's a good football team. Yes, right. I predicted that was going to be a good football team. I got laughed. As a matter of fact, I got laughed out of the room. So I'm the one that's going to be doing the last of the laughing. So, Bears and Bengals. A very interesting game with Joe Flacco being the quarterback. And the Bears, winners of 4 of their last 5 games. They just lost last week. I'm telling you, that is a situation that could be very good for the Bears with that victory if they are able to get it. But what makes me wonder, kind of like, are they going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars? Are they going to be the guys that won the 3 games? By the way, yes, I know who they played. They're not the top echelon of the NFL. I get it. But they can only play the games that are in front of them. They're not the ones that make the schedule. And you got to go out and win some football games. And they have. No one expected them to win 4 in a row. I just didn't pick the Bears last week because I can't remember the last time the Bears won 5 games in a row. Might have been back in 1986 when they won this Super Bowl. Some other interesting games. The Panthers are not a good football team, but boy, they scrap, don't they? I don't know if they're going to be able to scrap enough against the Packers, seeing how the Packers playing good football, and they know how to scrap themselves. So interesting there. The Rams are taking on the Saints this weekend. Nothing, right to home to mama about, nothing, big. Chiefs and Bills, though. Game of the week. They're going to be on in the afternoons. By the way, time change happens Saturday to Sunday, so I got to find out what time we're actually doing our show. I think we started 8. I think we started at 8:00. I'll get an extra hour of sleep. I'm excited. I think so. I'll check that out. The Commanders are at home taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks, kind of a surprise. Sam Darnold says, hey, I like the Minnesota, and I love the coaching. He helped me be what I am right now, but I don't necessarily need him. Sam Darnold, I don't know. Was this guy ever good? I don't know. we saw what he could do in Minnesota. So interestingly enough, that's something to look at as well. But man, Chiefs and Bills. Woo. I mean, we love that game anyway, right? I mean, we see that when we go back, and we see the Bills win that game a lot. Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. Man, would that be a game that you don't want to lose? If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're home. Saints and Rams. I don't know if that's anything to write home to mama about, but you know what? Yeah. I love a team that is really kind of comfortable with what they're doing week in and week out. And they get a garbage team like the Saints to come in. Not only that, they're starting a new quarterback. I'm going to be honest, I've never even heard of the dude. Falcons and Patriots. They're taking off in the early games on Sunday. And let's see here. The Chargers and Titans. They're going to be going. So interesting games. Got a couple of AFC teams going cross country. Chargers are heading out to take on the Titans. Oh God, are they pathetic? They fired their coach. Good Lord, have mercy. And then you got the Rams going to New Orleans. That's a big trip, but maybe not necessarily cross country. Jaguars going to the Raiders. They're flying a lot. And Seattle heading to Washington. So a lot of time travel in the airplanes for these football teams. But the two games, I mean, Colts and Steelers, probably the prime game of the week outside of the Chiefs and the Bills. And those are early games. You get the Colts early, and then you get the afternoon with Chiefs. If you're only stuck watching regular network TV, you got a couple good games coming your way. So, and we're going to talk about them all on Sunday. On that being said, make sure you check us out from 9 to noon Central Standard Time. Yeah, matter of fact, I do. I get an extra hour. We start at 7 now, but we moved to Mountain Standard Time, so that means 8 o'clock, huh? Get an extra hour of sleep. I'm liking this. So, all right, so lots of more things to talk about here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back. And when we come back, we'll get into some of the other news that has happened out there. We'll check those out because there's a lot of news that is going to affect this weekend's game already out there. So that being said, take a quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We're coming to you live from Barrio Brewing Company here in Mesa, Arizona at the Mesa Gateway Airport. It is Arizona's oldest brewery. Make sure you check them out. The food is fantastic. I'm telling you right now. It's so much so, they can't, just to let everybody know, they changed the menu. They got some new stuff up on their menu. Let's see what ends up happening. Ooh, that Reuben looks good. I need the Reuben. That being said, we'll be back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And when we come, by the way, when we come back, I got some real good news as far as the Couch Potato Sports Show is concerned. So keep you involved there. Make sure you come back here. We'll be back here in a couple minutes.
Barrios Brewing Company is Arizona's oldest brewery. In 2017, Barrios opened up in Phoenix at the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. Barrios is a roomy brew pub featuring its own brand of craft beers on tap, plus burgers, tacos, as well as sports on TV. Check out a few of their favorites, such as the Barrios Bacon Jam Sliders, 2 beef sliders covered with their own savory bacon jam and cheddar cheese, served on a pretzel roll. Yum. And how about Barrios Brats? The house bratwurst is slowly simmered in a copperhead pale ale grilled over an open flame, served with your choice of sauerkraut or caramelized onions. Yum again. So check out Barrios, located at 5803 103 South Sossaman Road, number 212 in Mesa, Arizona. Or give them a call at 480-988-7171. That's 480-988-7171. Barrios Brewing Company. Have hail damage to your vehicle and you're in the DFW area? Then First Choice Auto Hail is the first choice and right choice for you. First Choice Auto Hail Repair wants to protect your vehicle's value and investment by repairing hail damage. We even cover deductibles up to $1,000 per vehicle and can help you have your vehicle repaired for zero out-of-pocket costs. Give us a call at 469-288-2639. That's 469-288-2639. First Choice Auto Hail Repair, a name you can trust.
Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass? Do you know how big their legal department is, face?" So to recap, Mint is actually lowering prices on every plan to just $15 a month. And I will stay the hell out of the legal department.
At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors. The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement failed to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer fields. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Casso Insurance, serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance and save a ton. Casso Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CassoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on. Yeah, but is it fresh?
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Come see us today at our Rowlett location, 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. Whether you want to eat in or take it home, we will fix you up. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Here at Fit Body Boot Camp, located in Saxe, the solution is here. Fast, long-lasting weight loss results and the healthy lifestyle you need to keep them. The key to your fat loss success is our signature afterburn workouts, as well as support and motivation from our world-class coaches, and an easy-to-follow nutrition program to help you keep the fat off.
Visit your local Fit Body Boot Camp in Saxe today to see the difference for yourself, or give us a call at 214-463-3005. That's 214-463-3005. Fit Body Boot Camp Saxe. Saxe Ice House is a non-smoking craft beer and beer pub located in the heart of Saxe. The Ice House was opened to provide a friendly, clean, and female-friendly environment. Saxe was lacking a place for service industry, date nights, and girls' nights, as well as happy hours. Excellent service and top-notch food are our priority. On Tuesday, we offer 79-cent wings, as well as half-price burgers on Mondays. So check us out at the Ice House, located at 6501 Highway 78 in Saxe, or give us a call at 469-304-1550, or check us out on the web at saxeicehouse.com. Go Mustangs!
Located at the Mesa Gateway Airport. Make sure you join us out here, 5803 South Sossaman, number 220. Look for the tower that's out there in the front. You can't miss it, and head on in. And by the way, the new menu right here, the Reuben sandwich and the Western. That's what I get. Good stuff. Make sure you check it out. And they also got it new. And you were doing it. I watched it. By the way, Brandy's right next to her, but she put the. She's got the. Where is it? The penne on here, right? Wait, where is it?
The beef and cheddar paninis, other side.
It's on the other side.
Right there.
Right there. All right. So yeah. So she's got the handheld and penne. It's got the pennes right here, and the prices here, guys. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I've been to restaurants surrounding here, okay? They're right there with everybody else. So get on out here. And if you can't get out here, give us a call, 480-988-7171. Make an order, come and pick it up. If you can't come out, at least join us here or spend time out here.
We got some new weekly specials coming
And
out.
weekly,
$5 drafts every Thursday.
every Thursday, $5 drafts.
Monday.
Weekly special says
Monday is the burger and beer.
burger and beer
for
Monday.
$16.
How much?
16.
16. Burger and beer, 16. That's actually pretty
And
good.
then Taco Tuesday.
Chocolate,
2 tacos and beans.
2 tacos,
And a
beans,
margarita.
and a margarita
for $16.
for $16.
Wednesday is half a dozen wings, fries, and a beer for $16.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I got an idea. We'll just turn this right here, bring the microphone here, and tell them about the special. Let it go in so she does it better than I do.
Monday it's burger and beers for $16. It's a beer, fries, and a 16-ounce draft. Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, so it's tacos, beans, and a margarita. Wednesday is half a dozen wings, fries, and beer for 16 or 14.
One of those.
Thursday is half price desserts and $5 drafts all day. Friday is fish fry Friday, and Saturday is kids eat free with the purchase of a adult entree. So those are our new specials. There's going to be daily specials. Also. Those aren't ready yet.
All right, so there you are, guys. So come on out, see Brandy as well as their wonderful crew out here. Great people, by the way, and the food is good. Sounds maybe next Friday I might jump into that fish fry. What kind of fish is it?
It's hand battered. It's delicious.
Hand battered, good stuff. So try that next week because I got on my mind tonight the Reuben and the Western. So good. Anyway, all right. Back to it, guys, here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. A lot of things that we're covering. Let's head up back in here. It looks like half my things hit low, but that's all right. Let's take a look at this, guys. The game last night, 28-6. It wasn't even that close. I mean, this should have been 36, a lot more. They let up off the gas when they realized Miami wasn't actually really there, even though they were. I mean, you want to talk about a team that is in so much disarray right now. That's the Miami Dolphins. That's a football team that needs a lot of help. And the season's over. Then they're going to decide whether or not they're going to keep the coach for the rest of the year or just let him go and see what they can find out from what they're going to do for the rest of the season. Good, bad, or indifferent. Some people don't like it, and I get it. But that being said, let's take a look at some of the things that are going on. Let's look right now at the rushing yards leader. Okay. And frankly, James Cook's been doing this quietly. Because right now, he's not even in consideration for the MVP. We'll get to that in a minute. But he's not even in consideration for the MVP right now. Jonathan Taylor is. And then looking at Saquon Barkley, they're where they're at. And then Hall for the Jets. And, the Chargers are an interesting team. They got Vidal, and I don't think he's going to be available. I heard something where I think he's not going to be available for this week's game. So, interestingly enough, the rushing game has really came back in reality if you think about it. The rushing game now is big. If you go back around 7 to 8 years, the rushing game was important. The last 7 years, it hadn't been. But now it is really kind of getting back where they're looking at the running back and seeing how their team can be better with it, with a good running back. And I don't know. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's always interesting when you've got a good guy that can lead the way rushing the football. Because let's just go back for 3 years. Let's pop this up. These are the guys for the last 3 years that have been doing what they're doing. And then again, look at Jonathan Taylor. Where he is, 850 yards, ladies and gentlemen. These are big time. These are big time moves. This is when you got a guy that does what he does. And if you look at Christian McCaffrey 2 years ago, when he was healthy and ready to rock and roll, I mean, this is blowing by him. Now, Saquon Barkley last year is who he is and what that whole thing is. 115 yards a game. Now, that is a stat I can look at and respect. We can sit and talk about how great that some of these guys are, but when you're averaging 100 yards a game, that's when you're kind of kicking. Even Christian McCaffrey with 81 yards through 8 games at this time 2 years ago, they were still getting him back getting him out there in the passing game. 9 touchdowns 2 years ago for Christian McCaffrey, and that was a bad. This year, kind of nicked up. But 4.76 yards 2 years ago. Last year, Saquon Barkley was almost averaging 6 yards a game, and so is Jonathan Taylor, and it's unheard of. Those are incredible numbers. Those are numbers that are not going to go away either, because those numbers are even just going to get bigger. And Jonathan Taylor, his schedule sets up for him to easily have 1,600 yards. Maybe, right now he's right there. It kind of mid for him. 1,600 yards minimum. And by the way, I'll keep bragging about it because I'm the only one that said the Colts were going to be a good football team this year. That's why you got to listen to the show. That being said, of course, that's the name of the show on Sunday. Make sure you check them out. So, teams that have good rushing will be in the playoffs. Just there's no way around it. And I'll say this. When they decide to make the running game a priority on their football team, they'll win more football games. Yes, I know Bryce wants to, just call me the guy that just lives in, and does what he does as those get off my yard. But that's what football is. It's not football for the divas of the game, okay? It's not for the guys that traditionally are not traditional. The Lamar Jackson, all these guys, although Lamar Jackson is kind of making me eat my words in reality. But running quarterbacks just don't do it. So the old school mentality is back to the rushing game and who rushes the football. And again, I look at what here. Here's these numbers are, every single one of them were in the Super Bowl as well. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying Indianapolis is going to get into the Super Bowl, but the last two before did, making these kind of running, their teams are better. They're all around. When your team is all around, you are a better football team. So, that being said, who are the receiving leaders? Well, I'll tell you, I used to look at this and was impressed with a lot of it, but you're looking at the names outside of Travis Kelce. Now, the trade bait that is Jason Waddle, that guy's going to be on a good football team, hopefully, if he's smart enough, or they get the trade offer. And some teams that need the wide receivers better pick up the phone. This one is an easy one. By the way, think about this, where he is, okay? The receiving yard leaders, looking at per game, he's getting 99 yards a game. That's with Tua, who Tua really is not looking for anybody. He's running for his life. But yet Jalen Waddle is right there. I'm telling you right now, the teams that need wide receivers, and I hate to even say this because it makes me want to puke in my mouth. But the Dallas Cowboys need to go get Jason Waddle. There are some teams out there that could use that guy. Dallas is one of them. But it's got to be the right situation as far as trade is concerned on who would end up with this guy. What would Waddle call for? I'm just telling you right now, you make the stretch with this guy. There's certain guys in the NFL that you can make a stretch for, okay? These guys are they're the ones that change the game. And if Waddle had a guy that can throw him the football, that would. The Denver Broncos should be going to get Jalen Waddle. That should be a name that they're looking for. They got Portland Sutton is a stud. But Jalen Waddle on the other side, oh my goodness, and all the other weapons they got up in Denver. Bo Nix would love to have him some Jason Waddle. I'm telling you right now. Some other teams that could be looking for him should be interesting. Who ends up with it? If Miami decides to keep him, How happy is he going to be based upon how the team is playing, what they're doing week after week? So, here's, by the way, let me put this up here. This is the next 5, okay, well, 4. Outside, they just pounded Miami. But the Ravens have games that are all should be W's, which helps them based upon where they are at 2 and 5. So that being said, they get the Vikings, completely beatable. The Browns in their own division, the Jets, and then the Bengals. So before the Ravens took out the Dolphins, they were 2 and 6. Now they're 2 and 7. The Vikings are 3 and 4. The Browns are 2 and 6. The Jets are 1 and 7, and the Bengals are 3 and 5. This is an opportunity for them in reality to do what they do. So, including Miami, you're looking at a football team that has, out of the 4 games, they have 11 wins out of the 5 teams that they're playing. The 11 wins. You don't think that this is the team, the Baltimore Ravens, they can get back to somewhat normal and then roll into the playoffs? 3 teams are going to come out of the North. If you don't, or 2 teams are going to come out of the North. You're going to have 3, quite possibly, coming out of the AFC West. We're going to see some great games. And, I don't know. There's always been a kind of a talk. If the Baltimore Ravens can put it together, this is a Super Bowl bound football team. This schedule helps them bounce back. But I don't know if anybody's really talking about the Baltimore Ravens. Never mind just Super Bowl. But, man, with the record, playoffs, I don't know. It all depends upon Lamar Jackson. It all depends on whether or not that he's got the goods to remain healthy the whole season in order to do what they do. Because the Baltimore Ravens are a good football team. Their offense is stacked. Got Henry out there doing what they need, running the football. Had to fumble Lewski's a little bit early on in the season. So that's something to watch out for. The Ravens, don't count the Ravens out. Let's take a look at the power rankings here in the NFL. Good, better, and difference. I hate the stat, but it is a good indicator on where teams are. And it all depends on who puts them together, let's be honest. But you got the Lions at the number 1 spot and the Rams at number 2. I don't know. The Rams at number 2 is a push. They were there last week, and so were the Lions. So I'll just give it the respect it is. Green Bay moved up to 3rd, and the Colts moved up. And I just said this before. I love Tampa Bay. I think it's a fun football team to watch, but they're not a good football team, especially the way they're winning games. What was it, 5 games where they had to win in the final minutes of the game? You don't want to be in that position. So they dropped. Eagles stay in the same spot at number 6. Good, better, and different. Eagles are a pretty good football team. Okay, they fell to that number 6 because of those couple of losses and how they lost them. Let's be honest. How you lose football games definitely gets booked. And look at the Bills. They fell completely down. Kansas City. Okay, those 2 teams are usually the ones that are on top of these power rankings. But they've slid down to 7 and 8, and that's because You're seeing Kansas City lose games they shouldn't, especially to Jacksonville. Yeah, I said it. And the Bills losing games. So they slide down, and then other teams are kind of moving up and maybe getting closer. Seattle at number 9 is a complete joke. Because I would have, if I was doing it, I would definitely slide them down behind the Broncos. I'd slide them down behind the Patriots. I'd definitely slide them down behind San Francisco and the Steelers. I'd even slide them down further beyond the Chargers and the Houston Texans. They're right there with the Bears in reality. And that's why I would drop them all, move them all up one. I would drop Jacksonville just above the Atlanta Falcons. And I think the Cowboys should be up there. I think they should be around probably 16, maybe 15. But the Baltimore Ravens, they're slowly moving up. They moved up 2 spots in the power rankings. They're going to continue to win games. They're going to be up there. They'll be in the top 10 before we even know. Vikings, where they need to be. Cardinals, they just, I'm here now in Arizona. They're just horrible. This is a horrible football team. This franchise has been run like garbage for the last 40 years that they've been here. Well, what they've been 30, maybe 35 years. Pathetic. And then you got the Bengals where they are. They slide down. Last couple of, Joe Flacco didn't lose that game for him. That defense needs to show up. Good Lord. And the Browns where they're at, they're sliding down. The Jets should be on the bottom, but they get the win, so they move up 3 spots. And they got the bottom Tennessee Titans. Pretty sad. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they get the Raiders, and they're sitting at the number 31 spot. I'm worried about the Jaguars. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm worried about them this week. I'm I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm just kind of asking myself what's going on. Now, the point differential is a big indicator on how good your football team is, right? We sit and we talk about it all the time. But look at the top. Look where they're at. The Colts are the number 1 point differential in the NFL. Who thought that? I didn't think that. I thought they'd be a good football team. But plus 116? This is Daniel Jones at the quarter. That same Daniel Jones that couldn't get the job done in New York with supposedly the quarterback guru in Dable over there. So what I'll just say, that this right here gives you the indication on who's going to be good and who's not. And I'm telling you, all 3 of these teams are going to be in the playoffs, every single one of them. Now, what they do after they get to the playoffs should be interesting. But if you take a look at the Colts' number on this, it's 116. I mean, that's over 30 points over the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs got a little help by blowing out a couple of football teams that moved them up there. But I'm surprised to see the Patriots there. Not surprised to see the Bills. Not surprised to see the Lions. I think the number should be up there a little bit. But I will say this. The Patriots might be the dark horse in the AFC because that team just may make the playoffs. Yet another team the Jacksonville Jaguars has to worry about. But how about the point differential on the bottom? Now, before I put this up there, I want you to think about who those teams would be. And, you're probably right. Every single one of them. I mean, they're getting beat. And not only are they getting beat, they're getting beat bad. Remember, this is a week 8. Okay, let's say you lose by 3. You're being competitive. Okay, then make it 24, negative 24. Look at these numbers. The Titans are getting blown out of the water. So are the Saints. The Saints, they're going so bad, they're going to a no-name quarterback. No one's ever heard. Unless you're a college football guy and you knew where this guy was. I'm not a college football guy. I have no clue who this guy is. But they're going with a dude I haven't even heard of. That shows you the desperation of a football team and a new head coach who's going to get a pass because of the garbage that they got going on. And not only that, think about this. With the trade deadline, they're going to lose one of the 3 guys that they got on that football team through a trade. And they better hope it's not Chris Alvole. But something tells me if they get a good offer, that guy is going to go fly in the coop, and you're not going to see him. Chris Alvole, man, that guy's a stud. They should be ashamed of themselves. They really should. I just find it very, very funny that the Saints go out, they get that offensive guy at their head coaching position. And I hated the move. And that being said, it's sad enough. I mean, Kellen Moore, good thing he got the Super Bowl ring last year. So he's got that going for him. But as far as being the head coach of the Saints, it's kind of scary. And the expectations of what the Saints can be, very interesting. So watch out for that. Now, looking, some guys just should just keep their mouth shut when you own a football team. But Jerry Jones can't help but talk. And as the trade deadline comes and goes by Tuesday, Jerry Jones might talk himself out of getting good football players within that if they're going to make the run. Again, the Dallas Cowboys are in a lot of trouble. There are 2 games that this team can't lose to in the near future. One of them's Philadelphia. They lose to Philadelphia, their playoff chances are going to be almost gone. But when you add up on the fact that Washington is there and Washington can beat them at any given point, if you are a Dallas Cowboy fan hoping your Dallas Cowboys might make the playoffs, you better hope that Dak Prescott doesn't get hurt. I don't know. Just sometimes sometimes there's just some bad things going on. DeAndre Swift, okay, the Bears right now gave an update up on DeAndre Swift for the Bears. I'm going to tell you, he's averaging 4 to 6 yards per carry for the Chicago Bears. And right now, they are looking at not having them in the lineup this weekend. They might not make the playoffs. And actually, mark that. It's not necessarily that he's hurt. Is what can they get for him? Could the Bears be in the move? And this is where their general manager Ryan Poles has to be up on top of it. Because right now, Swift looks like this guy could be a Pro Bowler for the next 20 years. He is playing out of his mind. For the last 5, guys. And he's been a big part of it. They've been, by the way, they're scoring 25 points a game. I'm telling you, those are insane. That's not Bear life. And he's been a big reason why they've won 4 of those 5. But if this is the guy that could be on the trade block, how's that going to affect Caleb Williams? Because say whatever you want about Caleb Williams. Since he's got a running game, he's actually improved at the quarterback position. Swift is averaging 4.6 yards a game. You don't think that other football teams that need a running back have got their, antennae raised a little bit high? But the Bears saying DeAndre Swift is not going to be playing against the Bengals. He's been ruled out already for Sunday's game. And that's a groin injury. That's one injury you don't want to mess around with. But how's that going to affect the Bears? Not having DeAndre Swift in the lineup, that's a huge loss. Because Caleb loses the guy that can run the football. Say whatever you want, you've got to have the balance. And by the way, this is a game that you wish Swift was playing because the Bengals have the worst rushing defense in the NFL. They're allowing 152 yards on the ground. It's pathetic. So, how that will go? Will the Bears pull the trigger and let Swift go? I mean, they're on the outside looking in to get into the playoffs. But at the same time, do you let that guy of caliber that he is, let him go instead of having him for next year for the Bears? I think this is a big mistake. Oh, by the way, Ben Johnson defended Caleb Williams after that loss to the Ravens. I'm so tired. Because, used to have guys call out their guys, right? All you got to do is go back into history and seeing coaches calling out their guys and or their football team. Mike Ditka used to get all over him in the press conferences. He'd be out there and tell him. And this guy right here, by the way, this is calling out Peyton Manning. But granted, this was his first year.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
We don't hear that anymore. We don't hear that from head coaches because it's such a political correct world where guys, coaches such as that, they're considered being mean. I mean, I'm sorry. The truth defends being mean. It's just the way it is. If you're not lying about it and you're calling them out, that's great. But when you're just patting them on the butt as they're running off the football field like they just done something wonderful after giving up a pick six, coaching needs to stand up and be more stern instead of just letting the players run rabbit and let them do what they want. Being a football player has always been about discipline. It's always been about listening to your coaches. It's always been taking what they give you in the type of criticism or how they get. Oh, but you don't want to hurt their feelings. And this is what the NFL has gone to this point. To whereas if you do have a coach going off on, you get the video, and then all of a sudden everybody's talking about, well, what's going on? Are they having that problem on the side of the? No, that's how football is. That's what football is. It's not the pat the butt and the pat on the head. When you mess up, you own it. All you got to do is listen to Tom McManus. Comes up on the show. Former Jacksonville Jaguar linebacker on here. He hates it. And I'm telling you right now, Jacksonville is doing a lot of it. They've been doing it for 3 years. It drives them nuts, and I can't blame them. Because football has gone from being a gladiator sport to, let's just make sure no one gets hurt. Well, that's part of the game. But when coaches are not allowed to coach or they can't say what they want to say, it's one of those things. Just look at my
I
kid.
know I'm smarter than that something.
You don't see that anymore. They could be in your face in 5 seconds. Yeah. That's why you don't see very many sideline stuff going on. They used to have cameras on the sideline, and that's all they did. They had one camera or 2 cameras, one on each side, on the sideline, on each side of the field, just to get that kind of footage. Don't get that no more. And if and when they do, it gets blown completely out of proportion. And as you got to say, Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. Oh, well, he's disrespecting, Andy Reid. No, Andy Reid is tearing into him. He's getting back, and then Reid will get the final say like he's supposed to. That's the old school method. By the way, how many Super Bowls has that coach won? Yeah. He's won 4 Super Bowls, okay? So, he should have more. Philadelphia Eagles couldn't get off and save him and get him another one. But these are the old school coaches. Bill Belichick didn't put up with nonsense like this kind of stuff. But then you've got coaches that allow it. And I've been beating up on him, but the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, is the biggest joke in the NFL. Not taking his job seriously, not saying, like, wait a minute, you hired me to coach this football team. Now, if you want to coach it, take the reins. I'd love to see him walk off the field. Say, well, if this is what you want, you can have it. But he won't. I mean, Kevin Stefanski is not going to have a hard time paying rent. Okay? All right, these are superstars. Even the superstar coach got millions of dollars. He's not worried about rent. Standing up, and Kevin Stefanski will get picked up next year in a heartbeat, especially if he does it. I'm telling you right now, I think the fact that he hasn't done it would be the reason why he wouldn't get picked up. When you're a head coach in the NFL, you got to have backbone. If you're going to just be like Gumby walking out on the sidelines, you're going to get walked all over. Heck, just look what's happening in Miami. They're the laughing stock of the NFL because they got a guy in there who is not a football coach. He's an analytics guy who never played a game outside of being a kicker. And we all know what kickers are. They're not football players. They're kickers. So once they change the game and get it back to where old Sonny likes it, yeah, I know. I'll just yell, hey, get off my lawn. Yeah, I get it, all you youngins. I get it. And especially Bryce from Brooklyn. He comes and gives me the hardest time in the world. But here, the simple fact of the matter, we need a coach like
the
this.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
That's right. The Bears are who they thought they were. Dennis Green. These are the coaches' backbone. They call out their players. They don't care if they hurt their feelings. And, yeah, they make more money than they do. The players make more money than the coaches. Calling them out. We are missing it. And, by the way, when you're a football team that won't do it.
Not going to amount to jack squat.
And when I'm telling you, there's a difference. You go back to the point differential. I'm going to pull this back up because this right here tells you a big thing. Let's see here. Right here. Here's your point differential. And I want you to look at this list right here. And I want you to see who those head coaches are. These are not the pansy guys running around on the sideline. These are football coaches who put their team in a position to win each and every week. Now, look at the bottom of the point differential. Where's that at? One of these days I'll remember to bring my glasses. Right here. every single one of these coaches that are on this list are the new wave of coaching. Let's pat them on the butt. Oh, they're doing so wonderful. Well, so much so they fired the head coach of the Titans. Kellen Moore, one of my biggest complaints about him when he was with Dallas. Never mind after he, did what he did. These are the new wave coaches. The only one on here that is not the new wave coach is Pete Carroll. And everybody laughed at me when I said that guy's going to be close to getting fired this year. You watch. That guy is walking. He will be gone. Stefanski will be gone. The dude in Cincinnati is going to be gone. Kellen Moore is going to stay because that's an agreement. And they even know he took over a crap team. And they already got rid of the Tennessee Titans head coach. So you tell me who has better football players? The analytic guys, the new wave guys that are coming in, or the hard-nosed coaches that teach football and have the team line up to what football has been over the last 50 years? I don't know. All right, here's your MVP front runners here. And I'm telling you right now, there's some names on there I have to admit. Drake May is an interesting story. And people are really talking about him being the MVP. Now, granted, the other names on this list, okay, they'll get it before him. But the fact that he's even on a list of 5, and this so-called quote-unquote expert from Fox has him at number 2 for the MVP. Now think about this. They got Jonathan Taylor as the number 1, which, by the way, I've already said he should be the MVP 3 weeks ago. But they got him at number 2 over Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, Patrick Mahomes is not having a great season, but Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Matthew Stafford should be the number 2 spot. Then Patrick Mahomes, then Jalen Hurts. But Drake May at number 2, no, actually I think he should be at number 5. I don't know if this is the news media developing hype about guys that don't deserve it, don't need to be deserved. But it's sad. But he is an interesting story. He is a guy that's helping this team win football games. Just looking at the standings, let me get those back up there because it's huge here. Where is it? Right there. Bang. Looking at the standings that are going on. And look where the Patriots are. They're 6-2 this season. They got a head coach that has just walked in and took over for Bill Belichick when nobody else could. And he's got him back to Patriot football. 6-2, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, a quarterback, a second-year quarterback. So you tell me Mike Vrabel is one bad man. And that guy has brought that football team to be 6-2 on the season. And right now, making Buffalo look pathetic. Now, that being said, when the first season started off, you were like, well, I don't know. But he's put it together. And that football team is having a great season right now. No, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't think they'd be 6-2. We're talking about a football team that has a tradition of winning with Tom Brady, and Mike Vrabel was a big part of that during the time. And the fact that he's able to get to these guys and make them be who they are today should not shock you. I love me some Mike Vrabel. That guy's put it together for years in Tennessee. In Tennessee, he just didn't get the personnel that he needed. He don't have that excuse anymore. But then again, it's not even an excuse. Look what he's doing with what he's got. And by the way, I don't think anybody thought that they would be where they're at right now. So whether or not this guy can do it, I'll just say it. Vrabel's up there. Now, this show, I do the show. We've been doing it for 6 years. And I think I'm about ready in reality to eat my words. I think I was wrong. Been wrong. I know that's kind of but I might have been wrong here. I don't know. I look at the Dallas Cowboys, and when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, and I figure out who this team is. This is a marriage-based team. You're talking about head coaches that have been running through outside the few that were just drop-offs right after they lost Johnny Johnson. What's his nose? Dave Campbell. Dave Campbell wins the Super Bowl. But I'm gonna say it. Oh man, this is so tough. Maybe I was wrong. I was wrong. Yeah. But the Dallas Cowboys, they're not. Listen, they're in a lot of trouble. Okay, that being said, but it's not because of their head coach. Yeah, I just said it. I know. I can't believe it. I can't believe the words just came out of my mouth. You're talking about a head coach that, I don't know, we talked about it, had any business being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Any other football team, that's fine. Saints, Panthers, yeah. You bring Brian Schottenheimer in, that's fine. But this is the Dallas Cowboys. They're a total different franchise than, the Saints, the Panthers, the Jets. You take Brian Schottenheimer and insert them there, that's fine. But when you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and what they are all about, they're not all about football. They're all about media. They're all about spotlight. They're all about getting the guys, right? And Brian Schottenheimer wasn't that guy. I mean, we could sit and argue about whether or not he's a good coach or not. Okay? But what he has done, especially on the offensive side of the ball, look, at Dak Prescott right now, people are talking about MVP, even though they weren't on that list. But Brian Schottenheimer has put this team together. He has made them somewhat respectful out of the fact that how bad that defense is. But they're getting some wins. Now, does Dak Prescott got to score 40 points a game? Yeah. But that's a Brian Schottenheimer thing. It's not the defense. They bring in a former head coach from the Chicago Bears to do the defense, and at the time he was there, that dude couldn't even get the defense off the field. But yet, Brian Schottenheimer has been able to do what he does and made them somewhat respectful out on the football field instead of being the joke that they have been for the last 6-7 years. Never mind the last 35, but they've had a couple of good coaches during that time. But old Jer running that organization down there, he's got it under control. Well, and out of the biggest joke in the world has sprung a very, very beautiful baby flower. That is Brian Schottenheimer. Whether or not it will continue, you can question it. But you can't say that Brian Schottenheimer has been the real big problem for the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm telling you right now, I really thought it was going to be. That's why I admitted I was sorry. I admitted I might have been wrong. But I'm going to tell you right now, this game, this week against the Arizona Cardinals, is going to be one of the most vital games in Brian Schottenheimer's young head coaching career. Say whatever you want. Brian Schottenheimer has put all of the craziness that is the Dallas Cowboys and hasn't fallen for it. And what I mean by hasn't fallen for it is that he has been able to handle the pressure of what being the Dallas Cowboy coach is. Yeah, I know. I can't believe Bryce, I know I haven't said it. So Brian Schottenheimer is not the problem in Dallas. What? No, I can't believe I even said it. Now, admitting I was wrong, it's sometimes hard to do, but I'm still not convinced. I still think there are better coaches, but are they getting the best that they can in Dallas out of Brian Schottenheimer? Absolutely. You know, whatever you want to say about him, I'm giving, and I don't even care how they end the season, I'm giving Brian Schottenheimer a B+ in his coaching. So the problem with a lot of football teams is that they'll take a look at their head coach, their new guy, and they'll ask the question, should or will they go? All you got to do is take a look at Jared Mayo up in New England for the one season he did before they brought in Vrabel. Was it a hard decision? I don't think so, especially after what they're looking at. Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. You remember that? 1 year wonder. Frank Wright as the Carolina Panthers head coach. How about Nathaniel Hackett? These are some names that are coming. And now, one guy I think that got screwed over was Lovie Smith. Over in Houston. He got that 1 year. That's a guy that was a disservice in reality. And then his predecessor, David Culley, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was after. No. I think Lovie Smith was the one who replaced Cooley in Houston. So Houston had two years with 1 year head coaches, and they let him go. Even my Jacksonville Jaguars let one go. Urban Meyer, which, by the way, deserved to be gone. It was a pathetic performance as a head coach. And Freddie Kitchens. I mean, how about the 1 year and the dog pound? How about Steve Wilkes? By the way, this one I think was bad. I think they might have kept him. Now, he wasn't great. I get it. But I kind of like Steve Wilkes. 1 year as the Arizona. How about Chip Kelly? You remember him? I think he was on there twice. I think he had 2 years in Philly, but damn, he shouldn't have been. But Chip Kelly, 1 year in San Francisco. So big names. Romeo Crennel, I think, didn't he only last 1 year in Kansas City? Mike Mularkey also, another one in Jacksonville, just popped in my head. Chad Henne was the quarterback. Hugh Jackson. Now, that one I never agreed with. I thought it was so wrong. Should have never happened to him. So, I think you even go back to Art Shell. Art Shell, was he? No, I think he had, I think it was 1 year for him. So, names that everybody knows. 1 year head coaches. And guess what? It's going to happen again. And it's going to happen, I bet you a dime. There'll be at least 2 first-year head coaches hit to the curb. Heck, if you even remember, Pete Carroll was a one-year guy in the as far as the Jets, Jets. So I don't know. Interesting. One-year coaches, how long they last? Is it fair? You know, and that's another thing. I'm so sick of this fair crap. No one cares about fair when it comes to the NFL. When it comes to the NFL, it's about wins and losses. And there are four first-year head coaches, I think maybe 5. I'm telling you, 2 of them are going to be gone. Kellen Moore is going to survive. But the other ones, man, they might have griddle marks on their ass. Could be interesting. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. When we come back, we'll wrap things up coming to you from Barrio Brewing Company, Arizona's oldest brewing company. Make sure you get on out here. Check them out. Give them a call. If you can't come out, come and pick it up. 480-988-7171. We'll be back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show.
Barrios Brewing Company is Arizona's oldest brewery. In 2017, Barrios opened up in Phoenix at the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. Barrios is a roomy brew pub featuring its own brand of craft beers on tap, plus burgers, tacos, as well as sports on TV. Check out a few of their favorites, such as the Barrios Bacon Jam Sliders, 2 beef sliders covered with their own savory bacon jam and cheddar cheese, served on a pretzel roll. Yum. And how about Barrios Brats? The house bratwurst is slowly simmered in a copperhead pale ale grilled over an open flame, served with your choice of sauerkraut or caramelized onions. Yum again. So check out Barrios, located at 5803 South Sossaman Road, number 212 in Mesa, Arizona. Or give them a call at 480-988-7171. That's 480-988-7171.
Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass? Do you know how big their legal department is, face?" So to recap, Mint is actually lowering prices on every plan to just $15 a month. And I will stay the hell out of the legal department.
At Wesson General Contracting Incorporated, we're your one-stop shop for all your general contracting needs. We are locally owned and with over 20 years of experience, so roofing, gutters, sidings, fence staining, painting, foundation problems, or roof damage are no problems at all. Give us a call at 214-200-5588. That's 214-200-5588. Wesson General Contractors.
The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement fail to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer fields. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett.
Being taken for a ride? Check out Casso Insurance. serving Texans since 1981. Bundle your home, auto, or business insurance and save a ton. Casso Insurance on the corner of Main Street and Rowlett Road, where we make insurance fun. Or check us out on the web at CassoInsurance.com, where we always have the coffee pot on.
Yeah, but is it fresh?
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Come see us today at our Rowlett location, 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. Whether you want to eat in or take it home, we will fix you up. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
Barrios Brewing Company is Arizona's oldest brewery. In 2017, Barrios opened up in Phoenix at the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. Barrios is a roomy brew pub featuring its own brand of craft beers on tap. Check out Barrios, located at 5803 South Sossaman Road, number 212 in Mesa, Arizona. Or give them a call at 480-988-7171. That's 480-988-7171. Barrios Brewing Company.
Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're coming to you live from Barrio Brewing Company here in Mesa, Arizona, at the Mesa Gateway Airport. Guys, I just ordered up my stuff that I just can't wait. The Reuben. I'm not a rye bread guy. This is the best rye bread I ever had. I don't know what kind it is. I never liked it until I got here. So make sure you check that out. The Reuben, unbelievable. Corned beef, yum. Assistant, yum. And they're Western. That is unbelievable. Check it out. If you don't come here, just come pick it up on the way home or something. 480-988-7171. Check them out. It is so good. Now, the disaster, the dumpster fire of the Cleveland Browns. Now, obviously, they're in the talks. Shedeur Sanders has been talked about for 4 football teams. One of them is my Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, if you go back 4 weeks on this show, I had a meltdown, which happens a lot. Just ask Bryce. But the Jaguars just, they just completely shocked. Really. Your franchise is where it's at, right? And you don't necessarily know. Now, granted, you got a lot of money invested in Trevor Lawrence. Big time. But when you're the Jaguars, you do what you did in the draft this year. What did you do? Well, you went out and got the guy. By the way, I've been on record saying that I thought that was the smartest move for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, this is a franchise that can't get out of their own way. But this might have been the smartest move by going to get Travis Hunter. I'm telling you right now, it was the smartest thing they have done as a franchise. So when your franchise makes dumb mistakes like they have been traditionally doing over the past 30 years, when you go and do what the Jaguars did by getting Hunter with the number 1 pick, the fact they didn't follow it up by getting Shedeur Sanders, although I can't stand the guy, makes me want to. If I met him, I might just give him a slap across the face. I hate the guy. But sometimes you got to realize where the talent is. Okay. Travis Hunter had Shedeur Sanders throwing him the football. And even for a stretch, they get look where the Browns got him. They got him in the 5th round. This was a stupid move by the Jaguars. They should have went and got him. Yeah, I might have moaned and groaned about it, but using my mind, realizing if something happens to their quarterback, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is known to be getting hurt. Who would you rather have him throw the football to? I mean, we're talking about Nick Mullins. Okay? Now, there are not too many football fans that even know who this guy is. They might have known him from the 49ers, where he played. Back up a little bit. But this guy is horrible. It's the reason why he's bounced around as a backup quarterback, number 3 or 4. But, of course, he lands on the Jaguars. He becomes the second. He becomes the backup quarterback, the second. Who would you rather have in there? Knowing Nick Mullins on who he is and what he is about. I can't stand Shadir Sanders. Just said it again. I'd rather have Shadir Sanders. The guy throws to Travis Hunter. He knows who he is. He knows his tendencies. He knows his patterns. He knows how the guy plays football. But yet, the Jaguars, they let that idea slide by because yes, he is a diva. Yes, he is the son of, one of the biggest, hockiest football players ever to play in Deion Sanders. I get it. And I can't stand him, but I wanted him on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now they got an opportunity before Tuesday, to get this guy on the football team. Now, yes, Hunter is down for an injury. He's going to be out for 4 weeks minimum. But still, that being said, if something happens to Trevor Lawrence, you've got some familiarity between those two. You say whatever you want about Colorado. Okay, granted, they weren't the big upper echelon college football teams in college football, but they were damn good. I'll even admit it. Guys, this is a real bad day. I'm admitting to a lot of things I really don't want to admit. But I will say this. Business-wise, having Shadir Sanders as a Jacksonville Jaguar backup quarterback when you have Travis Hunter, who you gave up a first-round draft pick, 2 of them actually, to go get, it just makes sense. Now, that having been said, they still have the opportunity to do this. They got until Tuesday. And Shadir Sanders could be got for nothing. And them not doing it, it shows the lack of originality in the front office of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Or how about this? How about just common sense? That hurts nobody. Would he be happier in Jacksonville? I mean, all we're hearing is about how he's so unhappy in Cleveland. Would he be happier in Jacksonville? Something tells me yes. But the way they're walking out on the idea of, or not even think about it, now granted, supposedly they're in the running or being talked about. And that's coming from the bigwigs in the NFL. But I'm going to tell you, this would be one of the smart, and I would praise him all day long. Again, can't stand this guy. But I know business, I know football, I know what works. And it's not Nick Mullins. So Jacksonville, you're on the clock, baby. As much as I started this show out talking about you, I'm going to talk about you on Sunday. But you still have a chance to get them. Not making the move is not a right move for your franchise. Stand up and get the guys that help you win football games, especially in times of need. The Trevor Lawrence going down just stops with thinking that they're going to be a good football team without him, with Nick Mullins at the helm. So they got to make that decision. They've got to try to get it done. And if they don't do it, and something happens to Trevor Lawrence, this bald head that you see right there is going to completely explode. So Jacksonville, you're on the clock. You got an opportunity for nothing to get this guy, and not getting him would be a complete and utter disaster. So that being said, that wraps up another football fanatics here at Barrio Brewing Company. Sorry. Get on out here. It's been, and by the way, it's been fun. Podfather, hope things are better. And by the way, thoughts out to Obi's wife. So she is not feeling good, and she has evidently been in the hospital since Tuesday. I'm gonna try to run up there and see. Well, I don't like going to see people at hospitals, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll check in with Obi and find out, and maybe I'll do that a little bit later. So thoughts and prayers out to him. One of the misfits up on the show. Thoughts and prayers out to this guy who's on the side, stranded on the side of the road. Trying to get his wheels going and everything else. So yeah, there he is. So that being said, guys, it's been fun. It's been real fun, by the way, just to let you know. That being said, you can catch us from 9 to noon. Why is this thing stuck on this? That's a video. It should turn off. Here.
Recently,
Oh, it's still there. Can't even get it off. Well, I guess that just tells you it's about time for the show to But that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Join us from 9 to noon Central Standard Time. Yes, 9 to noon still. That time does not change, although I get an extra hour of sleep, and Lord knows I can get it. And maybe we'll see this guy. I don't know. That's Bryce in Brooklyn. Maybe we'll see him on Sunday. It would be great. Outside of that, everybody have a good day. We're stuck here. So in case you didn't know, I'm waving goodbye. We're out of here, everybody. Bye-bye.